Gambling is currently one of the biggest industries around. It is a historically prevalent pastime, broadly accepted in many cultures and societies in various forms. People go to gambling establishments for vacations and holidays, and the casino industry is beginning to attract more tourists. However, there are lots of things the gambling industry does not want you to know about gambling, including how gambling firms have managed to keep you hooked. Stick around until the end of the video to find out. But before we begin, thank you for choosing to watch another one of our amazing videos. To enjoy more of these videos, subscribe to Economics Reasons and click the notification bell to get a front row seat. Now, let's begin. Gambling was practiced long before the establishment of the first casino. It is the betting of something of value with the awareness of risk and expectation of profit on the outcome of a game or contest. Gambling has various effects and can be a very powerful and essential economic development tool for states and countries that legalize it. The gambling industry consists of sales of gambling services and related goods by organizations, sole traders, and partnerships that operate or run gambling facilities, such as casinos, bingo halls, video gaming terminals, lotteries, off-track sports betting, online sports betting, betting on the pool, roulette, etc. In 2009, the gambling economy was a total of $335 billion. The market value of the gambling industry in 2020 stood at $465 billion. That year wasn't the best for the on-site casino industry due to the massive closures of land-based facilities because of the outbreak of COVID-19, leading to the rise of online gambling sites. According to the estimates, by mid-2020, the market size of the global casinos and online gambling industry reached a total of $227 billion. In 2021, the market size of the global casinos and online gambling industry reached $231 billion. In that year, over 1 million workers were employed at 5.3 thousand establishments worldwide. Gambling is no longer an underground industry. It had no true identity until Las Vegas. It is important to note that until the development of Las Vegas, Nevada, or Sin City as we know it, modern gambling didn't really have a landmark gambling hub of such a magnitude. The founding of Las Vegas is often attributed to the infamous gangster Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, who was a well-known figure in the Jewish mafia. In 2019, the U.S. gambling market hit a new high, approaching $261 billion, according to the American Gaming Association. It was found that in the U.S., it is economically beneficial for a state to allow and support gambling institutions. Even though a state may not want to support a gambling institution, residents of the local state will travel to gambling institutions in the neighboring states and gamble nonetheless, which will take profit and revenue from the resident state since gamblers will always gamble. Currently, sports betting is fully legal and operational in several states, and others have already passed legislation, but only a handful of states say they are not considering some form of legalization. Lotteries are such easy ways of making money that privately run lotteries are illegal in many countries. In the U.S., nearly half of the population plays the lottery, a form of gambling, and the state generates $21.3 billion yearly in revenue for the government. In the U.S., all lotteries have to be state-run, and their profits usually go to funding education. Because the state is guaranteed to generate money from the lottery, it is essentially a kind of taxation. Gambling in the UK is regulated by the Gambling Commission, which imposes age restrictions and requires gambling companies to obtain a license in order to operate legally. Gambling in the UK has not only generated significant revenues for the gambling companies, but also makes a substantial contribution to the UK tax budget. The UK market share of each gambling category provided by the Gambling Commission in 2016 shows that remote gambling was the largest UK gambling sector, with betting, which includes gambling in person and bets placed on-site at sporting events, as the second largest sector. The remainder of the UK market is made up of revenues from the National Lottery, casino, bingo, arcades, and other charitable lotteries. Gambling products and services advertising must be done in a socially responsible manner, and there must comply with the UK advertising codes administered by the Advertising Standards Authority, ASA, and issued by the Committees of Advertising Practice, CAP. In addition, there is a new rule to ban gambling ads featuring sports, reality TV, and social media stars to protect under 18 and the vulnerable groups. Gambling changed South Africa's economy forever. South Africa has an unusual revolution in gambling. Until 1990, most forms of gambling were illegal, But during the 90s, the country decided that significant revenue could be generated from legalizing gambling, and it was legalized. With the advent of online gambling, regulation is always taking place, but South Africa citizens must forfeit winnings from international websites to the national gambling regulator. Positively, the construction of a casino creates employment opportunities for many construction employees and suppliers, casino staff, and the suppliers to ongoing casinos. This has multiple effects on the state economy as a whole. The estimated gambling revenue is projected to be $335 billion per year. There are currently about 24 countries that have more than 50 casinos each, with the US topping the list at 2,113. This is a staggering amount considering that no items are being produced in gambling. This, combined with accompanying food and drinks, hotel stays, and rental cars, creates a sizable economy around gambling. Although casinos may result in the creation of new jobs, these new jobs may not be for the economy. The fact that gambling establishments do not create wealth, but instead transfer it makes the negative economic effect of casinos evident. What is less widely understood is how gambling companies can influence otherwise happy, intelligent, and sociable people, causing them to act impulsively, against their own interests, and lead to gambling addiction. Gambling provides jobs since all commercial games require labor, but gamblers have been using the proceeds to cover debt while they go into severe debt and suffer anxiety because of it. What began as a harmless flutter has led to financial ruin, family breakups, and worse for countless customers. Evidence suggests that most people who engage in gambling activities do so at low levels and experience no negative consequences of their behavior. However, it is increasingly recognized by communities, industry groups, gambling regulators, and politicians that there are serious harms associated with gambling for at least a subset of individuals, and all of these groups are responsible for undertaking efforts to address these issues. Many countries have tried, but there is no stopping gambling. There have been several attempts in many countries and states to ban some types of gambling, but the result of most of these bans is illegal gambling developing in hiding, and with neighboring countries having legal gambling, this may not have much of an overall effect. Religion and gambling don't seem to coincide. Gambling has been brought under consideration by religious organizations as it deals with their members' social and financial lives. Unfortunately, the gambling industry has caused some human damage. Gambling tasks have often been used to simulate risk-taking scenarios to study human behavior and decision-making in psychology and economics. The harm associated with gambling behavior is thought to lie along a spectrum of risks, with such risks including increased investment of time and money spent gambling, a preoccupation with gambling and gambling losses, and continued gambling despite negative personal and financial outcomes. Gambling firms keep you hooked, making you think you're in control, disguising your losses as wins, celebrating near misses, and giving you free money. The feeling that you're getting a good deal is a motivating factor that makes you more likely to bet. The more you bet, the more you'll receive free bets. Everything you see at the casino is designed to keep you there. They have good interior designs, beautifully decorated, usually no windows or clocks in the main hall of the casino, but free food and drink offers, shows, and entertainment. Anyone who has spent time in a casino knows casinos are designed to make you lose track of time and, more importantly, of the money you're probably losing. For some, gambling is an addiction. For many, it is just a little bit of fun, but I think it is safe to say it is not going anywhere. In reality, all forms of gambling are set up in such a way that whoever is running them is guaranteed to make money. How else will they keep the casinos and betting houses open? The unfortunate truth is that 9 out of 10, the house always wins in gambling, but there are still slim chances of being victorious, though there are some unusual exceptions. Gamblers rarely win because it is all about business and profit, making for the business owners, and the result tends to always favor the casinos or betting shops and not the player. Many people facing financial crisis tend to fall into the trap, gamble on their money as they believe it is a fast source of income, but they end up losing all their money and then start betting on their houses, cars, and other properties. The state's economy has both positive and negative effects from gambling. However, if effectively enhanced, the short-term positive effect of gambling can be used to offset the long-term negative economic effects. Gambling can adequately lead to the creation of jobs and the generation of more revenue, especially where investment in the casino industry is made by regional investors that do not lead to the transfer of wealth outside the region. Therefore, in legitimizing gambling, the state must consider the social costs that can result from the business, which might affect its economic influence. Thanks for sticking with us all the way to the end. Let us know what you think about gambling in the comment section below. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated about history, geography, politics, and economics. See you soon!